Crazy Laura Loomer is about to make some sense. Watch.
What is it going to mean for the future of our country, our national security, and the incoming Trump administration if we have a bunch of technocrats who are also essentially welfare queens because their companies are receiving government subsidies and they want to take over our defense industry? If you have a bunch of tech bros with billions of dollars and direct unfettered access to the vice president and the president of the United States, and then they are also, very cordial with our adversaries, as in China and Iran. We see that Elon Musk is having these meetings off the books with Iranian officials, with Chinese officials. What does that mean for us and the future of our constitutional republic?
Okay, I told you she's making some good points. Looks like Maga just found out they got taken by a bunch of globalists.
The person whose name was on the ballot was Donald Trump. He won the election, and his position on H-1B visas is that he thinks it's a good program that can have some benefit. His position on illegal immigration and the crisis on that in the country generally is that it has to stop. And I don't think it is impossible for the Republican Party, led by Donald Trump, advised by Elon Musk, and supported by a bunch of other Republicans out there, it's not impossible for this group to find its way to a common ground. H-1B visa program is reformed, fraud is eliminated, we find a way to bring in the smart people, the people that help America, and then on the southern border, we find a way to close it, stop the illegal immigration crisis, stop the drug crisis, stop the crime and the criminals. We can do both at the same time, and that's what Trump and Elon are for, and the vast majority of Republicans are going to support that.
And there's Scott Jennings saying that Donald Trump likes the H-1B visa that brings in high-skilled workers, which is what Elon Musk was a proponent of and Laura Loomer was opposed to. But now the question is, which one is it, Maga? Are you for it? Are you against it?
Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? I'll be doing fine, wherever you are today. Now, just like 3 months ago, when people voted for what they voted for, and everything happened that, the results came out and people celebrated on what happens. But as things are turning out, seems that everyone is getting back to their reality, and a lot of people are regretting a lot of the things that they did, choosing who they chose. And a lot of theories are coming out in regards to the recent government of Mr. Donald Trump. It is not like he's the one who's doing this. The people who surround him, the oligarchs who surround him, are the one who is helping him make this decision. In this present discussion, we are going to see how the influence of Mr. Elon Musk is affecting the citizens of the United States, because the living standards are getting so high, and a lot of things are happening. People are getting inside the country like normally. At the same time, others are being imported, and there's a lot of things to discuss about everything which is happening around the United States today. So I want us to watch this video because it's going to show you, or it's going to give you a perspective that you didn't think about. And I think it's important for us to have these kinds of discussion, constructive discussion about the future of America and its citizens, how people are going to be surviving, how everything is just unraveling itself. The person in question is Elon Musk and a couple of oligarchs, the CEO techs that are running the United States. I want us to watch this video. I'll be back and then we'll have this discussion.
Crazy Laura Loomer is about to make some sense. Watch.
What is it going to mean for the future of our country, our national security, and the incoming Trump administration if we have a bunch of technocrats who are also essentially welfare queens because their companies are receiving government subsidies and they want to take over our defense industry? If you have a bunch of tech bros with billions of dollars and direct unfettered access to the vice president and the president of the United States, and then they are also, very cordial with our adversaries, as in China and Iran. We see that Elon Musk is having these meetings off the books with Iranian officials, with Chinese officials. What does that mean for us and the future of our constitutional republic?
Okay, I told you she's making some good points. Looks like Maga just found out they got taken by a bunch of globalists.
The person whose name was on the ballot was Donald Trump. He won the election, and his position on H-1B visas is that he thinks it's a good program that can have some benefit. His position on illegal immigration and the crisis on that in the country generally is that it has to stop. And I don't think it is impossible for the Republican Party, led by Donald Trump, advised by Elon Musk, and supported by a bunch of other Republicans out there, it's not impossible for this group to find its way to a common ground. H-1B visa program is reformed, fraud is eliminated, we find a way to bring in the smart people, the people that help America, and then on the southern border, we find a way to close it, stop the illegal immigration crisis, stop the drug crisis, stop the crime and the criminals. We can do both at the same time, and that's what Trump and Elon are for, and the vast majority of Republicans are going to support that.
And there's Scott Jennings saying that Donald Trump likes the H-1B visa that brings in high-skilled workers, which is what Elon Musk was a proponent of and Laura Loomer was opposed to. But now the question is, which one is it, Maga? Are you for it? Are you against it? The Civil War begins.
You're totally right. And think of the irony here, Rachel. They shipped all their good manufacturing jobs overseas and said, we'll teach them to code. Now it turns out, no, actually, we're going to import people to do the coding.
She just summed it up really well. Learn to code, America. You're not learning to code? All right, we'll bring in cheaper labor so that we can pay them less, and they'll code.
The argument is between Ann Coulter and Elon Musk. I'm going to side with Elon because he's got a more rational argument here. Part of the problem is in American schools and colleges and universities, they're not producing a lot of engineers. They're producing a lot of women's studies majors who are anti-Semites on some campuses. So we need more engineers. So how are you going to entice the smartest engineers in the world, but for a program like this?
And she just made the point that we're not creating enough engineers, which I guess she makes a good point. But we also have underfunded our education. Our schools have been underfunded. So we're not creating a lot of everything because the right and MAGA keeps wanting to take away from public schooling, keeps wanting to take away funding, keeps wanting to take away programs, keeps wanting to privatize schooling. And here we are in a world in which we don't have enough engineers to possibly work in these jobs that Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy were advocating to have H-1B visas for. Now, the H-1B visa is very interesting because it's supposed to be high-skilled workers. They've got a skill. We need them. A lot of engineers come through. A lot of them go to the tech world, accounting, a lot of accountants. People are coming from places like India, other Eastern countries, Middle East, some other places. They're coming here because they qualify for these jobs. But what you find out when you look at it actually is these companies like Google and some of these other big tech companies that are hiring these people are actually underpaying them. So it's not just that they're high skilled, it's that they're willing to work for less. Now for them, it's good. It's a great opportunity. They're coming, they're making good money, probably sending some of that back home. But for American workers, they're getting screwed because they're being undercut by the guys coming in with the H-1B visas. So it's not the workers' fault and it's not the American workers' fault nor the H-1B visa workers' fault, but it is the fault of these multi-billion-dollar companies that are trying to cut corners and cut costs. And rather than hiring some people that are American citizens that might be qualified for these jobs and paying them the full wage that they deserve, or rather than actually putting money into the American school system and saying, these are the kinds of people that we need, so start training more and more people in the world of engineering, in the world of coding, or whatever it is that you need for the tech world. These companies are just putting a Band-Aid over it and saying, let me go find someone who's going to do it for cheap, bring them in, and we won't fund the future workforce. And that's the big problem that we run into all the time, where MAGA is saying that immigrants are taking our jobs, but the truth is that technology, that advancement is taking people's jobs, and we're not doing a good job of training our people to take those jobs. You understand? And so we end up in a situation where people are coming in, taking less pay and doing those jobs, and we're in the situation where that causes a rift within MAGA. And Laura Loomer was right about the tech bros. The tech bros basically bought the election. If you don't think Elon Musk bought the election, look at how much he put in. Look at the profits he made. He put in about like 120 million or so through his super PAC, and right away his net worth went up by tens of billions of dollars. I mean, that's a great investment. That's a very short-term investment. It's a great investment. So the tech bros, they're the ones, Peter Thiel is the one who put J.D. Vance in the position to be vice president. So if you guys don't see it, you should look around and look at who's funding what and how this is all coming into play. Elon Musk did that tweet that slowed down the passing of the budget just a couple weeks ago. So yes, they were joking that Elon Musk is the president, but really he and a bunch of others have taken over and continue to take over, and they're benefiting from all of this stuff. When you end up in this international world where there's no fair play, the more money you have, the better you do. That's why we need regulations, and that's why people like Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and other tech bros hate regulation.
The image of the day, or images of the day from my point of view, is you had Donald Trump sitting there being sworn in as the next president of the United States, his, let's call it likely, top cabinet members right behind him.
Yep.
With Jeff Bezos,
Yes.
Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Sundar Pichai, Tim Cook.
Yeah,
that was. Keep in mind
They had better seats than the cabinet members.
They had
right?
better
Yeah.
seats
Yeah.
than most of the cabinet members.
Well, we have officially entered into Trump 2. Electric, we are screwed. I think that's the name of the film officially. Listen, I mean, in fairness to the new president, the new old president, the new president, he did a little break in between to commit felonies. He's in there, but this time it's going to be different. He is a man of the people now. He cares about lowering grocery prices.
The president-elect is moving the goalposts on some of his pledges, like lowering the price of groceries. It's hard to bring things down once they're up, Trump says. You know, it's very hard.
What's that I'm being told? He already said he's going to have a very hard time lowering prices. Okay, sure. But at least the inauguration is going to prove that he's a man of the people. What's that? It's indoors, and the people that flew there are not able to see the inauguration. But he did reserve seats in the very front for all of the tech CEOs that run social media. Got it.
Jeff Bezos, the billionaire owner of the Washington Post and Amazon and that space company, standing in front of RFK Jr.
You see, an oligarchy is taking place here in America. And if you don't know what an oligarchy is, it's when a bunch of rich, oily guys, or oligarchs, gain all the power, and the government serves only to serve them and not the people. But I'm sure that won't get out of control right off the bat. I mean, yes, they were there seated ahead of the president's own cabinet, and in a very limited amount of seats. It was basically them, RFK Jr. and Carrie Underwood, who waited a very long time to start singing. But it's not so bad. I'm sure they're not going to get drunk on power right off the very beginning. You know, I'm sure Elon Musk, who's the closest to Trump out of all of them, wouldn't then go to the president's inauguration parade rally event at the Capital One Arena in DC right after that and do this, would he?
Thank you.
So he did. So that's what he decided. How he decided to end his speech at an arena there. Maybe he made a mistake. He didn't. I'm sure he corrected it when he then turned to the people in the back of the audience.
My heart goes out to you.
He did it twice. Okay, but here's the thing. Who cares? It's not like we. Okay, it's bad. I can't sugarcoat it, really. I mean, I think the perfect analogy being that he literally only made the inauguration for insiders, literally indoors in a much smaller space where he couldn't invite his supporters who are supposed to be who he cares about now. But of course he didn't. He did care about some of his supporters, though. He signed a bunch of executive orders on day one, including pardoning over 1,500 of the January 6th Capitol insurrectionists, including people that took batons and poles to beat police officers with. So that's nice. It's just everyday Americans. You know, the guy with the Camp Auschwitz sweatshirt, he's been pardoned. You know, all the really great folks that are now empowered even further. And why would Trump have all of these tech CEOs there? Well, A, it's obviously because he loves when people show fealty to him, when they get on their knees and do what they have to do to make sure they make a little bit of extra profit at the cost of truth. They only paid $1 million to be there, and Zuckerberg threw a party for him for the inauguration. He wants to be one of the cool guys. These guys were against him in his first term, and now they're just all getting in line. And it's not like they just control social media, which they do, controlling the people that were there, control only Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, the Washington Post, all of Google, all of TikTok. That's right, the super bad danger to our democracy spy software that Trump said we had to shut down a few years ago. TikTok, CEO of TikTok was also there as well. Rupert Murdoch, of course, was there. Somehow being kept alive by the sheer will of greed and evil. And that's what we got now.
Now, as you can see, this video corresponds to everything that you've been seeing happening in the United States. And this person there, the Maga insider, who is trying to tell more on how screwed Americans are, how screwed they feel they are. Right? Because at the same time, while they thought that they voted for Mr. Donald Trump, it turns out that it wasn't for him, but it was for oligarchs, the group of people that surrounds Mr. Donald Trump. And this has to do with a lot of things that are, I mean, I hate to change in the United States. And I think at this moment, in a society where it's being run by oligarchs, at the end of the day, when you suffer, profit is always for them. So while people are crying that there are no jobs, there are people that will do those jobs at a cheaper price without even these people caring. Because at the end of the day, if you'll deliver and they're paying you less, they won't go to skilled people who can do the same. So at the end of the day, you are going to lose as a citizen of the country. Now, the question is, how long will this go? And as a result, I had a couple of comments in regards to this video that people talked about. Somebody said that Elon Musk, Donald Trump are crackers, pulling the all over. Is American are here to busy doping it up. Somebody saying that H1B visa is them faults. Them have got at school since they took over the education department. Kids are taught scale down and a lot of work nonsense. No metal shop, wood shop, electric shop, mechanical drawing or automotive shop, let alone basic math. Reading and civics or PE classes, all those are basic building blocks starting from junior high school. Now they say it's not safe to teach those things. Now somebody is saying that Elon is a disaster for the USA. He should be deported for being a 3 out of 10. Trump is following Hitler's playbook to a T. Musk is the Joseph Goebbels of Trump, GOP and Maga. Okay. Somebody is also saying that my son chose not to be an engineer because of the corporate succub slavers turned engineers into temp workers with no benefits. He took talented and gifted classes, too intelligent to buy that nonsense. He shifted into banking, then bought a business. This is a propaganda. Somebody is saying that, in my opinion, Putin gave a lot of deep, dark, dirty he has on Trump to Elon. So Trump is now firmly under the Elon's thumb, as he has been under Putin's for many years, almost like when assets like Melania was sent in and she gave birth to Baron, who will most likely play a big part in those things to come. Trump is not going to cross Putin, Musk, and most likely the oligarchs, because as a malignant narcissist, his ego won't allow him to expose and humiliate in front of the world. Don't forget, within a few days of him being elected, more data is coming in that there were more bunch of irregularities regarding the vote count. Russian's news channel were featuring nude photos of Melania, which newscasters were laughing about. What was a warning from Putin to Trump that he needs to remember who is the boss. Somebody saying that Vikadik Robaswamy, Trump will never run out of vile victim to finger jam with, but most can survive his nonsense and play, and his complete lack of morals must be witnessed up close to see how much in the neg he operates at his worst than most people in prisons and at any given time. Somebody's saying that, oh my God, these people are just Republicans whose only goal is to win. Now that means that something completely different than what educated people with humanity, empathy, and hearts, Republicans, and like mostly billionaires, believe it's not only just okay to stomp your way into the goal, but it's too necessarily for them that you must lose by any honest definition who they are is vicious, non-compromising, backstabbing, lying, cheating, POS. And these Christians are everything except good Christians. Somebody's saying the number of people in this thread who have absolutely no idea what they're talking about is infuriating. Americans did learn to code. There was massive pivot to STEM more than a decade ago. We have a plenty of highly skilled, talented engineers and developers. Right after AI was released, the biggest tech companies made sweeping cuts to the workers. They eliminated jobs for all of the talented American labor. They said that AI was going to replace the work completely by 2030. There are employment and tech forums full of highly qualified American engineers and developers who were let go from the jobs and masses last year have not been able to find any openings in their field. There is no shortage of educated Americans. There is surplus. Who do you think built AI? That's the question that she poses. She goes in by saying it is disgusting that so many Americans are so enthralled with some billionaires they don't even know that they will eventually turn against their fellow Americans and advocate for the bringing in immigrants to take their jobs for pennies. While billionaires tech bro you've never met can make you completely flip your entire ideology and worldview, there is no clear sign that you need to take long hard to look at yourself because this is pathetic. Somebody also said, I think the same person also went ahead and said that I usually agree with you, but I take slight umbrage at telling the students of schools that they need to learn. People should learn that they are passionate about not what the corporate world needs. Now being said, you are correct. There was a time when college students were flocking to get engineering degrees or learning to code. I even went back to school to learn to code. It was a whole big thing there for a while, but we just spent last 2 years being told over and over by Elon Musk and his technocrat buddies that we will be zero coding and engineering jobs available for human beings by 2030 because of AI is going to do them. Why is nobody calling him out on the fact that he told US students that coding and engineering career were over? Now he is turning around and bringing in foreign workers. Elon, Trump, and all other Maga billionaires are literally robbing and the nation and the people blind as we speak, and they are going to run out. The door is collapsed unless Americans wake up and fight back. That's what they have to say in regards to this. Somebody saying that the rich are getting richer every time we text, post, and YouTube needs to resist. Dr. Richard Wolff said that the rich is taking over Americans and we are in the decline. The rich are extracting the money from the poor. It is true, because I've been hosting Richard Wolff's videos, and I think what he's saying is most definitely truth. Somebody's also saying that the funding is not the reason America doesn't have engineers. The reason is engineers or STEMs have been painted as stupid nerds. Study and playing games is jokes thing, and girls want nerds. Stop blaming everything on far right. Parents say kids do whatever they want, but Asian parents push their kids for STEM. So don't say America don't produce good students in STEM because of the funding. It is all attitude of America and American. You don't want to study, and parents are happy with that. Somebody saying that ever since Elon Musk entered the political game, I have been saying on multiple media sites, Elon Musk should be charged with sedition, have his visa revoked, and been sent back to the country he came from with the wealth he had when I entered America to destroy democracy. Somebody's also saying that Elon Musk and Zuckerberg both bought Trump so he could help protect them. their companies from EU regulators. I guarantee if the EU further cracks down on them, they'll convince Trump to start trade wars with them as well. Somebody is saying that the idea that America does not have competent people is utterly ridiculous. Cultivate a culture towards STEM engineering programs and build and rebuild schools to focus on actual education, and you will significantly see this shift occur. Technocrats want cheap labor while undermining Americans in their livelihoods. I think most of the people have raised this same question about the undermining of technocrats and the fact that the Americans themselves are denying that there are no technocrats. Well, a lot of people in America have the skills to do these jobs, but what's the question of AI? The AI is trying to take out these jobs from people. Somebody is saying that Republicans will always tell you that they are for, but never practice what they preach. Funny how the rich always push for private education for the ones who can afford it, but in the end, those people can't seem to wipe their own ass. Somebody saying that even if the USA managed to bring enough slave brains, China is still going to top and surpass any major technological and technical innovations, because human creativity and intelligence doesn't come from slavery and exploitation of others. It comes from good education, healthcare, food, housing, and overall happier environment and quality of life. China spends the same amount of money in education of its children as the USA spends in its military. Let that sink. So, tell me what you think about this. I'll most definitely appreciate you are saying this. These are Presenter Agentic Stories, and I'm hoping to see you in my next video. But until then, peace, love, and harmony. Salute.